You are now listening to WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
Home of the hottest takes and the best interviews in college radio.
Hold on, wait a minute. We need a little more energy. This is Sports Pack. Yeah, there we go.
Home of the hottest takes and debates.
There is no way I'm going to sit here and roll with Jared Stidham and Aiden O'Connell.
Richard.
There's just no way.
And the best interviews in college radio.
This is five-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is Super Bowl champion quarterback Brad Johnson, and you're listening to Sports Pack on the Wolf Sports Network.
And the Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic Monday edition of Sports Pack. As always, I am your host, Richard Reed, joined by John Howley, Jackson Schrader.
What's going on?
And I would say Carly Pear, but she's currently absent. She will be with us at the end of the show. She had an important meeting she could not miss. But in the meantime, the chair is going to be empty for the start, but we got a bunch of guys rolling in. We got our guy Lim coming in for basketball, as always, and Keyshawn towards the end of the show coming on for our NFL segment. You're not going to want to miss out because we got a jam-packed show. As you already know, unless you've been living under a rock for some reason, the NCAA tournament has gotten started, and the madness is in full swing. Speaking of full swing, we got a lot of baseball and softball action at UWG this week that we have to talk about as well. But before we get started, I must remind you, you can sign up early for your fall meal plan and get rewarded a free coupon book valued at $150. Basic, a 7-pack plan for $300 for pack 21. This is a very weirdly worded ad, but let me just sum it up for you. You can now go online at the West Georgia at the University of West Georgia.com to sign up for your meal plan. They worded this ad read a little wonky, but I'm just gonna sum it up for you. Go online, sign up, and if you sign up now, you will get a big time coupon book with deals that you will not get anywhere else. College students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week are roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking. This is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Networks and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaigns to remind students that drinking should be done responsibly and in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty will not take hangovers as excuses. Now, as you see, I just kind of limped through them ad reads. And it's because, I had me a nice spring break. I relaxed for about 9 days or so, but we're back in full swing. So let's get into some UWG action.
Is wide and rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it. And it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Man, it's a Monday.
We're back, baby.
Man, it's a Monday
What did Garfield say? Mondays, man?
Man, Mondays. It was rainy earlier. Just got back from spring break. But, I'm knocking off the rust a little bit. We getting there. But you know who's already there? Our West Georgia Wolves men's baseball team.
Dude.
Over the break, while I was sitting back chilling, John and Jackson were over in Orange Beach relaxing as well. Our baseball team was putting in work. Last Tuesday, going on the road. No, this is a home game, excuse me. Last Tuesday here in Carrollton, taking down the Georgia State Panthers 12-11 in an awesome baseball game. Then going on the road this past weekend, playing Florida Gulf Coast 3 times and sweeping them Eagles out of their own field.
Bring the broom out.
Winning the first game 2-0, the second game 5-2, and then the last game yesterday afternoon 7-2, winning their first ASUN series in emphatic fashion, sweeping Florida Gulf Coast off the field. I almost said out of the stadium. I've been talking about basketball for a while this week.
Practically they did.
Yeah, this team was incredible, man.
Yeah.
They've been balling out all weekend on a 4-game win streak right now, and tomorrow they're going on the road to Athens, Georgia, the classic city, to take on the 3rd-ranked team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I don't know how that game's going to go, but I want to remind you real quick. A couple weeks ago, we went on the road to Knoxville, Tennessee to take on the then number 2 team in the country, the Tennessee Volunteers, and only lost 4-2. So, Schrader, how possible is it to get this done?
Given the fact that we made Rocky Top look a little rocky a couple of weeks ago, right? And if we can go into Athens, this is a very good Georgia baseball team. They just swept a pretty... an okay Florida team.
You took them from ranked to unranked.
Florida got swept before that, so it wasn't just Georgia that did that. But to see this Georgia team be incredibly good, but this West Georgia team kind of be on the rise, the reason I could see West Georgia go in there and get a win is because a lot of time these big schools kind of just, they look at these weekday games and they kind of sweep them under the rug, right?
Yeah.
The big games are for the weekend. You want that Friday night ace. Those are the games that people are going to show up for. They're going to want to watch. And I could see West Georgia. They know that this is a great opportunity. They know they could go to Athens and catch Georgia by surprise. So would I love to see it? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? Not such a confident yes. But I would love to see for West Georgia go in there and at least give them a little bit of a challenge like we did with Tennessee.
And that Tennessee game really has me doing a lot of thinking because we pitched some of our best guys in that Tennessee game and barely lost that game, only lost 4 runs to 2. So when you look at that game, it's like, how should West Georgia really approach this game against Georgia? Because
Wayne in there, baby.
It's a big time game. Do you pitch your best guy, or should you wait for conference play this weekend, coming off your first conference sweep, and save your best stuff for when Stetson comes to town?
As much as I would love to throw Lane in there, I mean seriously, the dude is a machine. He threw a complete game as the first game against FGCU and only had 2 hits and absolutely had a heck of a day. But the thing is I don't think you would start him for Georgia, and that's where you have is it Quiles? Or I don't want to say his last name, but it's going to be one of those bullpen days just like we did in Tennessee. And the one thing that I heard earlier from a good friend of mine that knows a couple people on the baseball team that are relievers is at first, the beginning of the season, these guys had like little to no chances to get in. And now since they're able to get in, they're doing these sort of bullpen games. It's giving them more experience, so it makes them better. So, I mean, if the real thing is really can our bullpen hold up? If we're going to do a bullpen game, we're not going to have Quiles go, that full 7 innings, heck, 9 innings like Lane does. Are you going to be able to make the bullpen come in and do the things they need to do, but control the game? Because we know the bats are there. We know we can get things done, and we can put this team on their heels. But it's going to be a hard scenario, especially after the last 2 games Georgia, scored a combined almost 30 runs. So it's going to be really, really hard to do.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%. Obviously, in the back of your mind, you want to pitch your best guys, kind of an ego thing, go out there and upset the number 3 team in the nation. But really, it makes the most sense. Just go out there, give it your best shot, put in some of your relievers, your bullpen guys, let them get some work, and then save your best stuff for the series that actually matters this weekend against Stetson. Game starting this Friday, then also going on through Saturday and Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. Schrader, you got one last thing?
I was just going to say, we had that bullpen game against Tennessee, but I don't necessarily know if it was on purpose. Our starter just did not do good in those first 2 innings.
Usually when we have that guy in, it's going to be more aimed towards a bullpen day.
He has an 8.44 ERA with 9 strikeouts.
We want him to pitch the full game, but he's not a starting pitcher per se. So that's why I call those our bullpen games.
Okay.
Right, it makes sense. So we all agree. The key is go out there, give Georgia your best shot, but save your best stuff, your best arms for the actual conference series, which another one starts up this Friday against Stetson, going through Sunday, and then next week another conference series against the University of North Florida. Now let's go ahead and pivot over to the girls. Our softball team's been on a bit of a rough streak recently, losing 6 games in a row. Their last win being Friday, March 14th against Queens, which was the first of that doubleheader. They went on to lose the other game of that doubleheader 11-8. Lose again to Queens 7-6. Lost to Mercer 11-4. I'm not finna list off 6 straight losses. It's demoralizing. It's gonna mess my energy up. But they have a chance to get their energy back right this weekend as they are going on the road to take on Florida Gulf Coast in Fort Myers, Florida, with the first game being Saturday at 2 p.m., another game being Saturday at 4:30 p.m., and the last game being Sunday at 12 p.m. So I just want to open up the floor to you all.
Yeah.
What do these girls need to do to end this 6-game losing streak?
Win.
Yeah, I mean, other than the obvious.
I think the best thing that these girls can do is just go get a win, right? It ain't gotta be pretty. Right. They ain't gotta go do it we don't need any specifications on how they win this game, if that's a word. But they need to just go out there and get a win. Escape the losing streak, kind of take a good look at the rest of the season and go from there. Just one game at a time, just get a win.
Right.
One game at a time is the way I can just look at it right now. Just go one game, and once that happens, on to the next.
Yeah, y'all are 100% right. I mean, the record looks rough right now. 9-19. But
It's
they're
like
only
volleyball.
But the thing is, though, they're 1-5 in conference play, so if they can just do exactly what y'all are saying, get their minds back right, and just take it one game, one moment, one inning at a time, and just keep mowing through it. They can get back in good standing in this conference and really make a run late in the
And
year.
we have we've said this before. We haven't played a lot of games at home. We've
Exactly.
played like 5 games at home.
Just about feels like none.
We have a huge home stand that goes from April 2nd to
April
the 13th.
Wow.
So that's
really
almost
nice.
2 weeks at home, and that could really be what the girls need, right? Like like just continuity, right? Not having to get on a bus to go to every single game, just
Right.
being in Carrollton. I think that could really help. But yeah, just one game at a time, go get a win.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's going to be really exciting to see them get back on track this weekend. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and speak it into existence. They're going to sweep Florida Gulf Coast just like our men's baseball team
Bring out
just
them
did.
brooms.
It's going to feel great to see them get back on track. Now, one last thing before we move on. Schrader, I'm going to have some kind of talk with you after the show because I'm looking across, and the one thing that's standing out is this Florida State hoodie that you have
Yep.
on. And no diss on Florida State. I'm not a Florida State fan personally. I'm a West Georgia fan. Actually, I'm a UGA fan, but I am a West Georgia fan too.
I feel that. I feel
due
that
to the
deep
fact
down.
that I attend this university. But I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, why does Schrader have on a Florida State University sweatshirt when you have on a Wolf Sports Network shirt?
Come on, man.
I don't understand it. Our merch store
Where's
just
yours?
opened.
Hey, it's on
Yeah,
order.
John, where's yours?
It's
Yeah.
on order.
See, look, John already ordered his. He got him a trucker hat as well. I saw him place the order a couple days ago. So if you want to be better than Schrader and more
Be
like my
better
guy
than
John
me.
over here buying some
Be
Wolf Sports
better than
Network
me.
merch, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com, click about, and hit that merch store button. They have just about anything you could want. T-shirts, polos, hats, hoodies, beanies, whatever you want. And if they have something on there if we have something on there that if we don't have something on there that you do want, go ahead and shoot us a DM on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network, same as the website, and tell us, hey man, y'all should put in some crop tops. Hey man, have you thought about making Wolf Sports Network shoes?
Richard
Whatever it
wants
is
crop
you
tops.
want,
Shoes?
look, whatever it is the people may want, whatever
do
it
it.
is you all want, shoot us a DM on Instagram after you follow us, and we just might throw it in the shop for you. So be sure to check us out. Like I said, hit wolfsportsnetwork.com, click the About button, and press Merch Store to get all the Wolf Sports Network merch you could possibly desire. Now we're going to take a quick ad break, but stay tuned because when we get back, we are taking a nosedive into this March Madness tournament. You're not going to want to miss it. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
Don't worry, there's a lot going on in the sports world. Catch Sports Pack on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on Wolf Sports Network for all the sports updates you need. The Wolves play here.
Hey, do you want to be part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Pack.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio are coming together for the concert event of the year.
Wolfstock, baby!
That's right, Wolfstock is back with great music and fun games and a great time for everyone around. April 21st, 6 to 9 in the Campus Center Ballroom. So come out for a good time. Wolfstock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria.
It's time to introduce Wolf Sports Network's newest show, The Playbook. Your home for college football, baseball, and basketball. And just like VCU in 2011, we're set to make a Cinderella run to the top of a Wolf Sports Network. The Rams are going to the Final Four! Tune in live every Tuesday from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And The Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
Suggs for the win!
Let's talk some college hoops. Man, and there is a whole lot to talk about as the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament concluded last night. Everybody gets a chance to breathe in, breathe out, catch your breath before Thursday when the Sweet 16 kicks off. It has been incredible so far. As always, the March Madness tournament has delivered with great game after great game. One game that I know a lot of people are really thinking about right now is Maryland versus Colorado State. It seemed like Colorado State was going to punch their ticket as the 12 seed to the Sweet 16, and then Maryland had something to say about that. With the inbound pass, Queen rolls to the left, fade away, banks in the go-ahead mid-range shot to send Maryland to the Sweet 16. It was incredible. Everybody's had a lot to say about it. It's been great so far. But that's not the only big-time game that's been played this weekend. There were a lot of great games. So I just want to open the floor to any of you, whoever wants to go first. What is one game that really stood out to you this weekend, and what makes that game stand out?
I'm going to go with Auburn versus Creighton. And
Creighton?
We know Auburn is the number 1 seed, but I ain't going to lie. I did some brackets, and I thought I had Creighton winning in some of those brackets. Because Creighton, I don't know, like just that first round versus Louisville, it just like, I just felt like, okay, they have a chance versus Auburn. And they were in the game versus Auburn. You know what I'm saying? They were in the game.
They were in it. They definitely were for a while.
Yeah, but, Auburn, obviously they came out on top. But Creighton, like that first round game versus Louisville, like he had like Jemiah Neal was playing ridiculously.
Dude, Creighton looked incredible in that first round.
They looked great.
I mean, dude, my bracket was on a generational run until that Louisville-Creighton game, and then it all just fell apart.
Yeah, but shout out to Auburn. They got the win, so they finna play Michigan. But that was one game that I liked. I also liked the UConn versus Oklahoma game. That was a very good game, very great game. And a lot of people. I mean, I'm sorry, not UConn. I'm so sorry, not UConn versus Oklahoma. UConn versus Florida. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was sitting here. I was like, I'm sitting looking at the bracket. I'm like, what game did he watch?
UConn. I mean, UConn did play Oklahoma in the first round, but the Florida versus UConn game, that was a great game. I mean, UConn at the 8 seed. I mean, yeah, that's fair. But UConn was in the game. They were just like right there with Florida. But Walter Clayton Jr., man, he's cold.
Tough.
He's the one that really put Florida over the top in that game. So that was a great game too.
Walter Clayton really stepped up and showed that there's a lot of great pieces on this Florida team. Don't get me wrong, guys like Elijah Martin, Richards out there. There's a lot of great players on that team. But Walter Clayton has shown that he is the alpha dog on that team as he continues to step up every single game and be that guy when Florida needs him to.
Goodness,
that's one of the reasons I have Florida going so far, because guys like Walter Clayton that can step up at any point.
Very fair.
Yeah, Florida this, Florida that. But another game that I really enjoyed watching was BYU Wisconsin. Simply because of how, like, you can kind of say there hasn't really been that big of a Cinderella this season, this tournament. I mean, we had McNeese do what they did to Clemson, and then they just got shot down immediately by Purdue. It did not last long.
Can't forget about them, all right?
Yeah, but we
the NIL manager.
Dude, that's crazy.
Apparently, he's made over $100,000 in NIL.
And he went to NC State with that coach.
Yep.
As a GA now. Like, now he's gonna be coaching, man. It's not gonna be hard for that man to recruit when he's a coach. He's just gonna be like, this is me.
Show the bling,
man. Oricon, the GOAT.
For real.
Go ahead,
but we look at this BYU team, and they're, in my eyes, I guess you could say, kind of one of the closer things we have to an underdog left, right? Colorado State's gone. New Mexico's gone. I mean, there's Ole Miss, which has been pretty fun to watch, but BYU beating Wisconsin was huge. I was watching that game. I needed Wisconsin to win for my bracket. Saw them chuck up that air ball at the end. But BYU looks legit. Now, they got to play Alabama, but if BYU can beat Alabama, man.
That's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a team, you mentioned a second ago how there's really no Cinderellas this year, and I don't want to get all the way into that right now because I have a lot of strong opinions about that take that a lot of people are saying that without Cinderellas there is no March Madness tournament.
That's not true.
I find that 100% foolish. I said I was going to wait, but I'm going to go ahead and get into that now. A lot of people on very large platforms are saying the sport is dying without Cinderella teams.
No.
That is just stupid. The great teams that are ranked high that are supposed to win have won this year. Not even all of them. We have a 10 seed in there. People don't want to say Arkansas because they're coached by John Calipari, but they're a 10 seed.
I forgot that
they
they're
were
still.
They
I was
weren't
trying
supposed
to think.
Exactly. They're not supposed to beat St. John's on paper. So we're still having stuff happen, but that's the thing. These games aren't played on paper. You're not supposed to be able to predict Cinderellas, and we're not supposed to have a Cinderella every year. That's what makes it so special.
Exactly.
That's why when we do have a big-time Cinderella team, it's incredible to see it because we didn't see it coming. So people trying to come on here and predict Cinderellas, like I've done, I'm guilty of doing it. I thought I picked Drake to be my Cinderella team.
I thought UC San Diego was going to have one heck
Exactly.
of a run.
I thought they were going to beat Michigan in the first round, but the fact that it didn't happen has brought us right back to square one. Right when people start expecting Cinderellas, we don't get any Cinderellas, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's what makes this tournament so beautiful. It shows how unpredictable it is. A lot of people have just started to think that they're smarter than a 64-team bracket, and that will never be the case. There will never be a perfect bracket, and if somebody wins with a perfect bracket, I'm going to ask to see their time machine because they're definitely a time traveler who came back to win that money. But to go back to my main point here, I thought the Drake Bulldogs were really going to make a run. I saw them win that first round game, and I was like, okay, yeah, we got something here. They took down Missouri in what was an incredible game, and I was bought in because Drake's got a great team built around some very strong shooters, and their head coach, who just took the Iowa job today, actually, hold on, let me pull his name back up because he's not a household name yet. Well, they only show his last name, McCollum. He's a big-time coach in Division II ranks, winning 5 national titles over the last 15 years at Northwest Missouri State. He was dominating the D2 level. Moved up to Drake, went 30-3, and now he's moving on to Iowa. That's exactly why I thought Drake was going to make a big run. And the way they ran their offense, they were incredible. Texas Tech just had too much talent. They ran into a buzzsaw in Texas Tech, and Texas Tech ran away with it at the end. But I fully expected Drake to make a big-time run here, but they didn't. But that goes back to the point we just made. This tournament is unpredictable. You're never going to know what's going to happen, and that's part of what makes it so incredible.
Texas Tech Red Raiders.
There it is. They're in the Sweet 16 where they're going to be facing the 10th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks.
Who would have thought?
Hey, Lim, I appreciate that. That was the perfect transition. Now we're looking forward to the Sweet 16. Our matchups are set. It starts this Thursday night. It's going to be incredible. So looking at the teams that have made it, the 16 teams remaining, who has really impressed you all the most? John, I want to start with you.
Who has impressed me the most? Gosh. You know what? I mean, honestly, it's got to be Arkansas, I feel like, for me. I mean, it's the 10 seed. You know, people were kind of skeptical about them, and then everyone's like, oh, well, they made the tournament. Calipari's not going to make it past first round as of recently. And just the fact that, you know, they kind of took some points away from my bracket, for sure. But with the fact they beat St. John's. I mean, I saw that, and nobody really –
St. John's
a very good St. John's team, and nobody expected that. And really, I guess you can consider it the Cinderella of the tournament. I mean, that's, you know – that's the highest seed still in there. So I say Arkansas is the team that surprised me the most because you have one heck of a coach, and obviously he's there to prove people, hey, just because I lost a couple in the first round doesn't mean I can't keep going.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, one team, I don't necessarily want to say they surprised me the most, but I keep forgetting they're in this bracket, and that's Tennessee. Oh. Tennessee is quietly just taking care of business 2 games in a row.
They've been dominant.
Yeah, they took down Wofford and then beating UCLA by 9. I mean, that was a huge one. But, I mean, I didn't think Duke was going to be this good. I'm not going to lie. I knew Duke was good, but, like, they have been killing people on the other side of the bracket. I mean, they destroyed Baylor, bro. I mean, I knew they were good. I just didn't know they were that good.
Yeah, I don't have one team. I have a couple teams. Michigan really surprised me. You know what I'm saying? Coming into this tournament, you got Danny Wolf, you got Vladislav Golden, who's playing really well, and they're playing Auburn. And another team, Ole Miss, like Trey, you said, like a team that doesn't really surprise you. Ole Miss, they didn't really surprise me, but like they just have an interesting team. Being from the SEC, they have an interesting team, so it's good to see them there. And another team that I have is, again, Arkansas. Arkansas, you know, they came in this tournament having something to prove, and now they're playing Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. So those are my teams, you know what I'm saying, that I'm looking at.
Lim, I really want to focus on that Ole Miss Rebels team because this is a team that's been very impressive the entire year. They were solid in the SEC all year. Obviously, they locked up a 6 seed, went 24-11. This team has been nothing shy of incredible this tournament, jumping out big early against the North Carolina Tar Heels, a team that a lot of people, like myself included, didn't think they deserved to be in the tournament, but believed that once they got into the tournament, they go on a run because of how experienced experienced they are. With guys like R.J. Davis, Cade Cadeau, and others like that, I expected them, once they punched their ticket, to really make a deep run. But Ole Miss shut those hopes down immediately, going up 44-26 on UNC in the first half, and then being outscored by UNC 38-27 in the second, but still holding on to win that game 71-64 was extremely impressive. And then a few days later, having to face the Iowa Cyclones, a team that year in and year out has been one of the best defensive teams in college basketball.
I was high on them this year.
Exactly, and this year they had the offense to back it up, and they beat them 91-78. Surviving a late game barrage from Iowa. Iowa was down 29-40 at the end of the first half. Then the second, they scored 49 points, but it still wasn't enough because Ole Miss scored 51. Dude, this is the team that's really caught me off guard, and they have a very interesting matchup against Tom Izzo and Michigan State coming up this Friday. That game's going to be incredible. Exactly. The team I've been highest on, but now I'm about to do my redemption brackets at some point this week. And the redemption bracket is when you pick from the Sweet 16 on and try to make yourself feel better. I really don't know which way to go because I've been super high on Michigan State all year. They play great defense, really good in transition. They're a very great and well coached team. But when I look at Ole Miss, man, I don't know because Ole Miss is cerebral. They don't just rely on transition points like Michigan State does. They can go out and score on their own, move their offense and work some magic, and also play great defense. I don't know, man. When I look at Ole Miss, this might be a team we see move on to the Elite Eight and maybe even in the Final Four.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
What do y'all think about that?
I'm not. Hey, that's a good take. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, they've been playing like they can, so I don't see why they couldn't.
Facts.
Poetry right there.
And I feel like I'm gonna go back to the SEC tournament when they played Auburn. Like they were in that game with Auburn. So like that game showed me, okay, Ole Miss, like they're ready for the tournament. Like they're ready. Like they're playing like they just play. They play with so much cohesiveness. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Ole Miss is they could do something. Yeah.
And real quick before we move on to the women's tournament because it's a lot to talk about there as well. I really want to talk about one more 1 seed. Schrader, I know you mentioned Tennessee. They're not a 1 seed. They're a 2 seed. But if they win this Sweet 16 game against Kentucky, they have to face the winner between Houston and Purdue.
Yeah.
I really love this Houston team. Purdue's been balling, but I really feel like, that is the champion in the bracket that I made. Houston's been great, man. And I feel like if not now, then when. They've made 6 straight, can I correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat or if y'all know as well, but I'm pretty sure they've made 6 straight Sweet 16s. They're extremely experienced, very well coached. It's just the way I look at Houston, it's like if not now, then when? Because as always, they have a very great defensive team. But now this year, they're also dynamic offensively. They have shooters across the board, big men down low. They can kill you from all 3 levels. So when I'm looking at this Houston team, I'm like, why not this year? Why not them? They're going to have a tough task against Tennessee or Kentucky. Both those teams have been playing really, really well. But, man, don't sleep on them Houston Cougars, man. They have been balling. Now, there's also some ball being played as we speak as the second round of the women's tournament is going on right now. We currently have Alabama taking on Maryland. Fun fact, Maryland's a 4 seed in the women's tournament, just like how they are in the men's tournament. Let's look and see if they can recapture some of that same luck that their men's team has had moving this deep into the tournament. I shouldn't say luck, but some shots do come down to luck in basketball. They're currently trailing 41-39 in the second quarter at halftime, to Alabama Crimson Tide right now. What, John?
No, it's actually 59-45 in the third.
I didn't refresh my computer.
It's all good.
Hey, I appreciate it. Don't shake your head next time. Just call me out.
I hear you.
I appreciate that. And then,
hey, man, the camera ain't on me right there.
And then, Schrader, I see you wore your Florida State stuff for a reason. It's not only their pro day tonight, but also they're at the end of the first quarter in their tournament game against the LSU Tigers, keeping it pretty close so far, 31-24. Now, I want to start with that game because LSU is one of the better teams in the nation this year. A lot of people are really high on them. They won the national title a couple years back. So looking at this LSU-Florida State matchup, I know you're a Florida State fan. What do the Seminoles need to do to pull off a big-time upset this round?
Win yet again. I mean, I think we really just need Latson to just continue to score like she's been doing. I mean, she's the nation's leading scorer this year, which is a pretty great weapon to have on your roster going into the tournament. But I've watched this. I went to Georgia Tech to watch this team play, and really when this team is the best, it's when they're just shooting lights out from 3. I think if we can shoot lights out from 3, obviously score more points than LSU and all of those things, but just play as a team. Because there were a couple of times where we would kind of just rush things and try to go on transition offense and just try to score really fast, and it wasn't working. And when we slowed it down, we played a whole lot better. So if we can do that against this LSU team, play pretty good defense, don't let them score more points than us, then I think we'll have a great shot at winning this game, especially after halftime. I know that at the end of the first quarter, but halftime adjustments are big too.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how the rest of that game plays out. Schrader, you just laid out a lot of good points, but that LSU team is talented.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
They're 29-5 right now. But Florida State ain't too shabby either.
Hey, we're
24-8. Like you said, the nation's leading scorer on your team. It's going to be a very exciting game. If you aren't watching right now, be sure to tune in. That's going to be a nail-biter moving forward. And also later on tonight, the number 2 one of the 2 seeds in this tournament, the 32-3 Yukon Huskies are taking on the 30-3 South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Now, they had a dominant win earlier in the first round of this bracket, but moving on, they're facing a very tough South Dakota State team, a team that a lot of people really feel like might be able to shock Yukon here. I'm not one of those people, as I picked Yukon to win the whole thing in my bracket, but it could be a very interesting game nonetheless. Now, I know, Lim, before the show, me and you talked about this a little bit, how dominant a lot of these teams have been early on. Teams like the Yukon, South Carolina, LSU's. Which one of those teams have really stood out to you so far as an overwhelming favorite?
Yukon definitely stands out. But I mean, and we talked about it on one of the shows. We said like how women's college basketball is kind of starting to become like men's college basketball. So I want to level the playing field. I want to give honorable mentions to UCLA, USC, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame has
had a great year so far.
Yeah, they've been one of those teams to watch out for, and South Carolina. So, but yeah, I think out of this tournament, for me, if I'm gonna choose 3 teams. I'm gonna say USC, UConn, and South Carolina. Those are my favorites. And another honorable mention to LSU.
Now, if you had to pick out of those 4 teams, if you had to pick one of those teams to win it all right now,
one of those teams. Okay, if I pick one of those teams, I'll go UConn. UConn. Yeah,
I like UConn. UConn's very well built up and down. This is the healthiest they've been in a few years. I like UConn as well. And you also mentioned Notre Dame, though. Notre Dame's already punched their ticket to the Sweet 16, where they will face the TCU Horned Frogs. I know a lot of people like TCU in basketball. What's that about? Well, Haley Van Lith has transferred back to TCU, and they have an incredible team outside of her as well. They were dominant in their first-round game, winning 73-51 against Fairleigh Dickinson, and then last night winning 85-70 over Louisville. This is a very good TCU team, and that is a huge matchup coming up later this week when they're going to take on the Fighting Irish. John, what teams have stood out to you so far in this women's bracket? And if you had to pick a champion right now, who would you pick? Because Lim left out another team from the SEC that's currently a 1 seed, and that's the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, I saw that matchup between they got with Tennessee here 1-5. But if we're talking about my champion, it's the champion I've rode with the past couple of years, South Carolina Gamecocks. We know what they've done. It's in my women's bracket. I was just double checking before it. They lead me to the glory land right there. All right, usually. That's how it goes. Usually my percentile's a lot better this year. This women's bracket this year is a lot different than I expected. I'm not going to lie. We were actually going back and forth about it at the beach. Like who do we pick here, actually? Because the landscape of this women's tournament has absolutely changed. But I'm still riding with the Gamecocks.
The playing field is really starting to even out. We have a lot more good teams than we normally do. Schrader, what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, he said, we were looking at this playing field, like, who do we pick? I knew who I was picking. I picked Florida State in my bracket, but I also had Florida Gulf Coast going to the Final Four simply because they're an ASUN team. And this bracket is actually cooking right now, dude. I'm just saying, aside from the Florida Gulf Coast mishap, this bracket is going crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. We have a lot of big games ongoing as we have previously spoken on. We have LSU currently taking on Schrader's champion, the Florida State Seminoles. I'm very interested to see how the rest of that game goes and how the rest of this tournament goes. Can't wait to chime back in on Thursday to see what all has changed since today. Now, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to boost literacy rates with our pre-K book drive. Our ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's pre-K monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/book drive. Together, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network will make a brighter future. That's wolfradio.com/book drive. Now, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick ad break, but when we get back, we're a month from the NFL draft. So we're going to dive into a lot of this offseason stuff, talk a little bit of the draft, and talk about some teams that can really take that next step this NFL season. Stay tuned. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network, your home for all things UWG athletics.
Hey, do you want to be part of Wolf Sports Network?
Yeah!
Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now.
Oh. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Pack.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Sports fans, are you looking for a show where you can see other sports fans sharing in your misery and excitement? Then Sports Out of Pocket is for you, because we're fans too, and we experience our highs.
Hugh Bertagine is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one.
And our lows.
Trayshawn Ward. Screw you, buddy. You won our team last year, and you gave us no mercy, okay?
So join us every Wednesday at 5 to cheer and boo along with us, only on Wolf Sports Network.
It's a tale as old as time. All good things must come to an end. But this final ride is going to be legendary.
Oh, yeah.
More legendary than this.
Is this the dagger?
And this.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown!
So be sure to listen to Triple Threat every Friday starting at 11, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack, because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And the Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty. And a lot of teams are really trying to get on the right side of history and build up their dynasties this year. Lim, I want to thank you for coming on the show earlier. Now Keyshawn is in for us for our NFL segment. We got a lot to talk about because, as I said before the break, we are exactly 1 month from the NFL draft.
I can't wait.
Man, it's going to be so exciting. We're going to do our annual NFL draft show. I hope you all tune into it. We'll be live all night reacting and giving analysis on every single draft pick.
Fun night.
Oh, it's going to be a great night.
You're going to see me possibly flip out on that 15th pick just like I did last year for the 8th pick with the Falcons,
Man,
baby.
it's going to be a great night. We're going to pack a lot of caffeine and be ready for you all on April 24th. But before that, we have a lot of build up until that moment because the draft is a night where a lot of teams are going to really flip their franchise on their heads, per se. It's what the Washington Commanders did last year, taking Jaden Daniels second overall. And little did we know, drafting Jaden Daniels and a few other moves throughout the offseason really helped take the Commanders essentially from worst to first, surging and becoming the Cinderella team of the NFL, winning the coming in second place in the NFC East and going on to play in the NFC Championship. They were incredible this year, led by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. So naturally, that's got us thinking, who could be the next Washington? I know we don't see it every year, but if we were to see this again next year, what team do you all think could be the next Washington Commanders? Schrader, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I feel like there's really one answer to this question. I think this is one team that really will do this, and it's the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Right? The Chicago Bears were not good at Bears were not good at all last season, but there was potential. We saw a lot from Caleb Williams. Aside from him getting sacked all the time, when he wasn't sacked, when he had a clean pocket, he was a very, very good quarterback. And this team, I mean, they had an awful head coach. It was a dumpster fire.
Yep.
So what did this organization do to fix that? They went out and they got Ben Johnson, right? Probably the most sought-after coaching prospect that there was this season.
Definitely.
And then they went out, they traded for Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney, and they just got Dahlman from the Falcons. So that really, you look at that offensive line, that basically patches up anything that needed fixing on that offensive line. You look at the defensive line, they just got Grady Jarrett, a guy whose name I can't pronounce and I'm not going to try to pronounce. And then for wide receiver, you need a little more depth there. They went out and they got Zacchaeus, the former Falcon, like a guy that we know.
And Zacchaeus had a really good season last year for the Washington Commanders.
He had a really good game against the Falcons late into the season last year, dude.
And that's already a stacked wide receiver room with guys like Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore still on the roster.
And we haven't even gotten to the draft. So I look at this, and I think, what could the Bears do? what could the Bears do to really cement this offense as what you could say is elite, right? You have DeAndre Swift at running back.
Right.
Why don't you make a two-headed monster? You got a high pick.
I know where you're going with this.
I know exactly.
What if you go get Ashton Genty, dude?
Man.
Just make this offense insane. Caleb Williams,
Look at my
DeAndre
chops
Swift,
already, man.
Ashton Genty, like... Dude, the Bears could be a contender if you make this move. Yep. So why not do it and go from worst to first?
I agree. He took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the Bears, I love the offseason moves they made. They pick at 10. He stole the words right out of my mouth. Get Genty, solidify that offense.
I'm really not mad at that at all because, like you both agree on, it all starts with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Their O-line was terrible, and they have made all the necessary moves, at least on paper, to fix their offensive line.
Right.
Now you have a guy in Ben Johnson who, if you don't know who Ben Johnson is, he's been the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions over the past few years where they've been super successful with what? That two running back system. That running back system with Jahmyr Gibbs and
Sonic
David
and
Montgomery.
Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles, and they've been dominant. So why not go ahead and recreate that in Chicago? You've already got your quarterback, a guy in Caleb Williams, who a lot of people bashed unfairly, despite him having a bad offensive line, and he still looked very good in times, especially throughout the later signs of the season. So you go get the two-headed monster, DeAndre Swift, Ashton Genty. I can't even believe I'm saying that. That would be incredible. And then you think of the receiver room, I'd argue they have a better receiver room than Detroit does. Now, Detroit has a very good receiving room. Amon-Ra St. Brown is no slouch, but outside of Amon-Ra, I mean, you have Jamison Williams. He's shown flashes as a deep ball guy, but you got Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. That is pound for pound one of the best receiver rooms in the NFL. So you give Caleb Williams an offensive line and that two-headed monster at running back?
Man.
I think I'm going to start
looking pretty good over there.
I'm going to drive up to Tennessee and place a quick little futures bet on the Chicago Bears. I can tell you that much. John?
I mean, I've kind of been scouting around here because, you know, there's a lot of teams that can go different here. But the one team I'm focused on, not to make the hugest, you know, turnaround like Washington did, but a team that definitely make the step in the right direction would be the New England Patriots.
Okay.
And the thing is they've gone out. You saw in free agency, they started spending all that money. They're bringing in guys left and right for offense, defense. Heck, you got Mike Vrabel as your head coach now. Vrabel. Sorry, my bad.
No,
but, you know, you bring in a head coach like him. They're kind of really excited for you. Get the young quarterback in Drake May, a guy who's super talented, as we know.
He showed flashes this year as well.
Absolutely. And really what I think where you go right in the draft, because I was just sitting here thinking about, I was like, who would you pick? Because, you know, for some reason, if Travis Hunter's there, he's there. Go get him, make him wide receiver. I saw a thing about the other day because they're talking about Stephon Diggs possibly going to the Patriots because he followed Drake May on Instagram. That's apparently like the telltale sign. Or
it's
what a world we live in.
Yeah, it's 2025.
Look,
we're watching who receivers follow on Instagram.
They follow every little detail.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
They have the money to bring in Diggs as well.
They do.
Dude,
but
they have so much money.
Yeah, they do.
But if you go sign Diggs, then why not go get a lineman in the draft? They were one of the teams that was sacked more. They weren't the top in the stats this year, but they were almost. Yeah, they were fifth in sacks
fifth in the league
in
sacks allowed.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you also go get one stud of an offensive lineman? Do I know who off the top of my head? Probably Kelvin Banks Jr. at tackle. I've been
solid.
He's solid. I've loved him throughout the whole year. He's a super solid player. Maybe go get him. And I'm not saying you're gonna go be the best team in the league, but you're going the steps in the right directions to build back up this wonderful dynasty that Tom Brady made so great. And that's the way I look at it. I say I could see the Patriots definitely making, you know, the right jump in the right direction.
I could definitely see that as well. You're already right. They've got their quarterback of the future. They just need to fill in those other gaps. Patch up that offensive line. They've made a bunch of big-time additions on defense. They brought in their new head coach, Mike Vrabel, who was very successful in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. They've got a few more moves to make, but I'm with you, John. I feel like the Patriots can be a tough out for just about anybody they face.
Mm-hmm.
But when I pose the same question to myself,
what you got?
I thought about the Bears. I really like the Bears. I like the Bears a lot. They're probably going to, if there is a team to do it, it's going to be the Bears. But another team that I feel like could really make a lot of steps in the right direction.
Let me hear it.
And a lot of people already think I'm a fan of this team because how much I fought for them over the past year.
Jay?
But I promise you I'm not a fan.
Start with a J?
Man, they do start with the J. It's the New York Jets.
Yeah.
And when I look at the New York Jets, they've already made some moves already. They brought in Justin Fields as their new quarterback, who I still feel
Such
like
a good move.
People really have not tapped into what Justin Fields can really be. He showed flashes in Pittsburgh, but was benched in Week 5
For winning, dude.
Exactly,
Like,
for
no
winning.
reason.
They were
For no
4-1
reason.
in 5 games. But nonetheless, Mike Tomlin made his Mike Tomlin decision, and they just squeaked above 500 just because of that. But Now you're putting him in this New York Jets offense with the O-line that's been a little shaky, but it's gotten better throughout. It got better throughout the year, and Rodgers looked better at the end of the year. But you're putting Justin Fields in this offense, a guy that behind guys like Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels and maybe Kyler Murray is one of the most dynamic dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL. You still have Garrett Wilson as his wide receiver 1. They still have other weapons here, and they're also sitting with the number 7 pick in this year's NFL draft. They can do a lot right there. They can go defense, but their defense is already solid. They could go offense, get a receiver like Ted McMillan or Matthew Golden, another guy who's been flying up people's draft boards. Or they could go offensive line and get another tackle to help protect Justin Fields. I don't think they're going to go from worst to first. They're in a stacked division. Teams like the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are actually going to regress this year. But teams like the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Bills in the AFC East, it's going to be very interesting to see. But I think the Jets can really be a tough out for just about anybody. I think the Jets are going to feel a lot like how the Cardinals did this past season. One of those teams where their record may not say they're the greatest. They're in the hunt for the playoffs for that last wild card spot, but no team wants to go on the road and face that team. Just a team that's going to scratch and claw and make you work for every single thing you have to get. And I think the 7th overall pick, them getting a guy like Ted McMillan, who a lot of people think is the best wide receiver in this class, pairing him up with Garrett Wilson, bringing in Justin Fields, those kind of moves can really take this Jets team to the next level. I don't think they're going to be a contender, but I think they can be a very competitive team and a tough out for just about any NFL team in the league this year.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think the Cardinals are a team to watch out for as well.
They are.
I mean, because they took a big step forward last year, and they went out. They just got Josh Sweat, and, hey, they got Jacoby Brissett, so they're set at backup quarterback.
Solidified.
But, dude, that's a team that I would look for out in the NFC West, because the NFC West is very, like, you have no idea who's going to run out of there alive.
You're right. As of right now, the Rams look like an overwhelming favorite, just adding Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
They were really good last year, took the Super Bowl champion Eagles to the brink in the divisional round. But you're definitely right. The Arizona Cardinals could do it. They were 8-9 this past year. We don't know what's going on with the 49ers. How much longer is Brock Purdy going to be there? Seattle's building something. We don't know what they're building.
They're cooking, though.
Yeah, they're cooking something. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but they're definitely cooking. Then you still got the Cardinals. Like you said, Schrader, they weren't bad at all last year. They went 8-9. Marvin Harrison Jr. had his rookie year. Kyler Murray showed that he's back and healthy. The run game's been solid. The defense has improved, and they've made some other moves. I like the way you're thinking, Schrader. The Cardinals could definitely be another team that takes that next step forward. Now, quick reminder to all of you. Our merch store is now open. So if you want some of the freshest apparel in the game, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com, hit about, and click merch store to check out all the great merchandise we have. We've got hoodies, hats, t-shirts, polos, any and all things you could want. Wolf Sports Network or Wolf Radio, whichever one floats your boat. Beanies as well. We have it all. And if we have something on there that you're not really too keen of or that you really wish we had on there, follow us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network. Shoot us a DM and let us know what you want, and we just might add it for you. But now, let's talk some sports news.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pack. You know, there's a lot more challenges and brackets going on in the world right now other than March Madness. I know that has a lot of our attention right now. However...
Hi, Carly.
Hello, guys.
Great to have you.
Yeah, welcome back.
We're just going to act like you've been here the whole time.
You're just jumping right back into it.
Hey,
quick flight to
Italy. That was a smooth transition. But, yeah, we got a whole lot more going on in sports. I know March Madness is a huge topic. I know it stinks because literally my best bracket is the one that's not in any of my groups,
same. I feel the pain.
That's what they all say.
I think you just go with one bracket.
I don't know. One and done's hard. I always make like 3, 4,
I
5,
die on
6
the one
brackets.
and done. Well, I had two, but it was for Kansas winning.
How many did you make this year, Carly?
I made 5. And literally...
The most at the table.
My worst one is the one in our Wolf Sports Network.
Yeah, well, it happens.
But I'm not last, so that's all that matters.
Hey.
That's all that matters. But anyway, so we got a lot going on this week. First up, our MLB opening day is the 27th, so on Thursday.
No, go ahead.
How we feel about this opening day?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so ready for this, John.
I'm juiced.
I'm so ready for baseball to be back. I need to be disappointed like every weeknight by the Marlins. It needs to be done.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how the Braves are looking this year. A lot of people were very disappointed last season, especially after how Acuna went down. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm also interested in seeing the Mets, man. Juan Soto's out there. I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets are going to be really interesting, but you gotta go back to those Braves because, like, y'all's roster is amazing. The Braves they're one heck of a baseball team. But from what I've heard from all the guys at the station, right, you got that bullpen, and that bullpen is a big question mark for the Braves this season. So I think a big question would be how can the Braves. How can they win with this bullpen that's definitely not what they want it to be? It's not up to their standards. Yeah. But also, can the Braves just stay healthy? Because they're still they're not even getting through spring healthy. I mean, you got Austin Riley was hit by a pitch, and I don't know if he's going to be there for opening day. He was out for a little while in the spring. But you also had Sean Murphy, starting catcher, broke a rib.
You know what?
So
honestly, I know Sean Murphy broke a rib and all that, but it gives Drake Baldwin a chance. They called him up finally. I've been following Drake Baldwin. This dude is one heck of a prospect, and he's the catcher. You know, because you have Chadwick Trump as your other catcher, but he's going to be on the opening day roster, and I'm really excited to see how Drake Baldwin does. The only thing is that goes around him is, will he stay healthy because he always has back problems?
Well, yeah, but the issue is you're going to start a guy that's never played in the game, never played an MLB game, opening day. Is that really what you want to do when you have a guy like Sean Murphy?
It's definitely not ideal, but it's very exciting nonetheless. This is exactly why we watch the sports. Drake Baldwin's the name to watch out for. John, I appreciate that. I'm excited to watch opening day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and even within the MLB, over the last couple of days of just spring training, there's been a lot of movements as well. So definitely interested to see how all of that's going to play out. But we are getting into the brunt of spring games for college football. Hey. There's been a lot of debate up in the air about that. If you haven't checked out Richard and I's interview with our head football coach Joel Taylor on YouTube, go check that out. We talk a little bit more about spring games in there. But I know John and Richard, you guys are looking at going to the UGA spring game. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's been big. I mean, a lot of people are really pushing the idea of Saturdays in the spring. It's an idea that really gained a lot of traction over the past few years. And people are excited about it. If you don't know, Coach Prime has been the first guy to really step up to the plate and say, I want to play real football in the spring, allow our guys to not just go up against one another, but truly play another team. And I, for one, think it's a great idea. And Schrader, I know you agree with me that you think it's a great idea too, right?
I just want more football.
Exactly.
I don't care how I get it, as long as I get more football. Come on, man, do it. And you want to see that because then you can really look at the guys that you got in the transfer portal, right? As a Florida State fan, I wish I would have known just how bad DJ was going to be at Florida State so I could prepare myself for that going into the season. Because, I knew he wasn't Jordan Travis, obviously, but then he goes in and bro's got concrete blocks for feet. I didn't quite know that. So I think it could be a great way to look at what are the guys that you get in the portal, right? How do they play? How do they play with all the other guys on this team, and how do they play against actual competition? I think it's a great idea, and it's just more football.
Exactly. It's going to be amazing. And then not even just for fans seeing what they've got, also for coaches. Yeah. Because I've known a lot of guys, even in playing ball in high school, that they are demons in practice, but when they step onto that field, something just doesn't click. So obviously you're not going to go as hard as you would go in a standard football game in the fall, because obviously your first string is going to start. They're going to bring in second string, third string. Everybody's going to get a chance to play. But these guys are still going to go up against other people. And that dog is going to come out of a lot of them because they're still competitors at one of the highest levels. So they're going to go out there trying to win and trying to stop the guy in front of them. So it's going to be incredible to see. Coaches are going to be able to better evaluate their guys because when you're scrimmaging your own guys day in and day out, you know what you're going to get at this point. You know how to play this person. Yeah. Now you're playing a new person, and also revenue. When we see this first spring game,
that's all you got to say. Schools
exactly,
will be down,
they're going to be on board for it because a lot of people are iffy about it. Me and Carly have another interview coming out later this week. We sat down with the ASA and conference commissioner. Yep. That's a conference that West Georgia currently plays in on the FCS level. I mentioned the idea to him. He was kind of iffy about it as well. But what a lot of people don't realize is they're not going to have a choice because when this comes around, whether Colorado plays North Carolina or Syracuse this coming spring, they're going to see how much money the school made, ESPN made, whoever's covering the game is making. They're going to see that revenue rolling in, and schools' athletic directors and departments are going to walk up to you and say, look, you don't have a choice. You're going to play a game because nothing out here, not even March Madness basketball, is going to match having a college football Saturday in the spring.
There's nothing like college football.
I got chills, man.
Saturdays in the spring. Go ahead, go ahead and familiarize yourself with that term, because Saturdays in the spring are going to end up being one of the biggest things in the spring we've ever seen. It's going to be revolutionary, and I can't wait to see it.
I mean, people just aren't going to be allowed to get married anymore. You're not going to be allowed to do it. Not on Saturday.
If you're not doing a summer wedding, I don't know what to tell you. Because I'm not going to your wedding in the fall.
Nope.
And if G-Day just happens to fall on your wedding day and Jordan's actually playing an opponent, I won't be at your wedding either. I'll send you a card, maybe even a toaster, but look, I won't be there.
Throw some flowers in there?
Yeah.
That's pushing it.
And while Richard could go on and on all day about Saturdays in the spring, we're going to shift gears a little bit. So over the last week, the Indian Wells Tennis Open wrapped up, and some pretty cool things happened. The third youngest woman to win it, 17 years old, Mira Andreeva, like, winning a tournament like that can you imagine being 17 years old? You're supposed to be a junior in high school, and you're out here winning like world renowned tennis tournaments. Like, that's insane.
It's incredible. Hey, I really don't even have the words for
you
this.
You won the US, or you're gonna win the U.S. Open.
Right.
So like
I don't even. Oh yeah, I'm gonna win it. But then again, I'm 20 years old.
Exactly.
Imagine competing
I guess that's true.
Imagine competing at that high of a level at the age of 17. Look, I was struggling to hit a fastball in 4A high school baseball when I was 17 years old. So the fact that she's out here winning major world-renowned tournaments at the age of 17 is nothing short of incredible.
Yep. And also, one more thing before we head out for the night. So this is the first year that NCAA Women's Gymnastics has done a ESPN selection show for their brackets. So that was super cool. And it's also cool to see that all 9 SEC teams that have gymnastics programs are in the top 16 rank.
Dominance.
So, gosh. I mean, the SEC is killing it in gymnastics. I feel like they always have. The Big 12 has also done super well.
You know what they say? It just means more.
Yep.
People always say that's just football, but it's not just football. Go ahead, look at the top 25 in baseball. Look at basketball this past cycle.
Yep.
Look at gymnastics. I'm sorry to say it, Schrader, but it just means more in the SEC.
You got more money. Makes it easier.
Hey, man. Whatever it takes. Just
know
it means
big
more.
Dogs, right?
Hey, West Georgia be in the SEC soon at some point. So
25 years maybe?
Soon. Give it 5 years. West Georgia.
All right, wow.
They're signing the contracts now, dude.
In your dreams.
Oh.
Hey, all right.
I know you was an SEC hater. Oh, but you are going to an SEC school after. Nah, you know what? We'll let you announce that later on. But that's all the time we've got for Sports Pack here tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're back after spring break. I know it was weird not having us last week, but we're back and better than ever, and we will be back for the rest of the semester. We cannot wait for this Thursday's episode. We're talking about more March Madness with the Sweet 16 starting. Thank you all for tuning in. For John Howley, Jackson Schrader, Carly Pear, my guy Lim, Keyshawn, I am Richard Reed signing off. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a blessed day.